Absolutely. I can't have Parma without beautiful streets.
We have everybody here? Okay, I'd like to call to order the Cuyahoga County Council regular meeting for June 10th, 2014. Madam Clerk, will you call the roll?
Calling the roll, Ms. Simon? Mr. Greenspan? Here. Mr. Miller? Here. Mr. Brady?
Here.
Mr. Germana?
Here.
Mr. Gallagher?
Here.
Mr. Schron?
Here.
Ms. Conwell? Here. Mr. Jones?
Here.
Mr. Hairston? Here. And Ms. Conley?
Here.
There is a quorum.
Okay, please rise to the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And for our silent meditation this evening, next Sunday is Father's Day. So I think we should all reflect upon our fathers. And I'd also like to reflect on June 17th will be my mother's 101st birthday. Her sister is 103. So it's our moment of silence. All right, thank you. And by the way, the one that's 103 just stopped driving like 2 years ago. Okay, all right, let's go on to, do we have public comment related to the agenda?
We do not, Madam Chair.
Okay, and moving on to item 6, approval of the minutes. The minutes for May 27th, Committee of the Whole, are in your packet on page 14, and did I say 14th? May 27th, and May 27th, the regular meeting. If everyone has had an opportunity to review those minutes, I'll entertain a motion to approve them as circulated.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Schron and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Any discussion on the minutes? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Announcements from Council President. I don't have anything to announce, so we can move along to our County Executive.
No, ma'am, I do not.
Okay. Item 9, the receipt of the documents submitted to council. Pursuant to the Ohio Revised Code, the Veterans Service Commission is required to submit their budget to us. It appears in page 35 of your packet. We don't approve or disapprove that budget. They merely submit it to us sort of for our review and to give us the information. I will note that I understand from staff that the amount of money going to the Veterans Service Commission this year is somewhat less because of revenues are down. And then I think, we've talked a little bit from time to time about the money that the Veterans Service Commission returns, and we've had some people in requesting some of those funds, and that amount also will be reduced because of the reduction in tax revenue. So that is there for your perusal. Moving on to item 10, legislation introduced by council. Item A, consideration of a resolution of council for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2014-0149, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Jeanette Wright upon her taking the oath of office as treasurer of Cuyahoga County and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This will go to the Committee of the Whole, and it'll be at 2 o'clock on the 24th of this month.
Resolution number 2014-0150, a resolution confirming the county executive's appointment of Jennifer L. Schofield upon her taking the oath of office as Director of Regional Collaboration of Cuyahoga County and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
That will be heard also by the Committee of the Whole on the 24th at 2 o'clock. A committee report and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading.
Resolution number 2014-0123, a resolution approving the appointment or reappointment of various individuals to serve on the Cuyahoga County Soldiers and Sailors Monument Board of Trustees for various unexpired terms and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for those appointments and reappointments as printed on the agenda, items B, 1, I, and double I.
So this matter is on for second reading, and it will be on for third reading on the 24th. Committee reports and consideration of a resolution of council for second reading adoption under suspension of the rules. These matters have been to committee, and we need a motion to suspend Rule 9D to waive the third reading. Mr. Gallagher.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
Second.
Been moved and seconded to suspend Rule 9D. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rules are suspended.
Resolution number 2014-0138, a resolution confirming the county executive's reappointment of Thomas M. McDonald to serve on the Metro Health System Board of Trustees for the term May 27, 2014 through May 31, 2020, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Germano first. Did you want to be heard on this, Ms. Conwell?
Madam Chair, Mr. McDonald has previously served on this board, but this is the first time under new government structure he is being appointed. His commitment to offer consistency on this board in light of Metro's future outlook is commended, and so this committee recommends confirmation of Mr. McDonald.
Mr. McDonald here?
Yes, he is.
All right, any questions or comment? Yes.
Madam Chair, Mr. McDonald, I have the privilege of Mr. McDonald to reside in my district. Just want to say thank you again for all that you have done and all that you will continue to do as we move along our journey, as Councilwoman Conwell stated, with our redevelopment of the Metro campus. And again, thank you so much.
All right, if there's no other further discussion, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Congratulations, Mr. McDonald, and we thank you again for your service. I would like to point out that there are, I believe, 2 other vacancies on the Metro Health Board, and I hope that the executive will fill those positions because it's very important that we have a full complement. So we look forward to getting additional recommendations from the county executive to fill those positions. Committee reports and consideration of an ordinance of council for second reading.
Ordinance number 2013-0023, an ordinance amending Chapter 701 of the Cuyahoga County Code by adding Section 701.05 to establish a policy for a more consistent approach to compensation, including any pay rate adjustments, cost of living adjustments, and/or merit pay awards to all or a significant part of its non-bargaining employees as part of the biennial budget process or throughout the year.
This matter will be moved to the 24th for third reading.
Ordinance number 2014-0013, an ordinance amending Chapter 701 of the Cuyahoga County Code by adding Section 701.04 to establish a policy for any requests for new programs or services that require an additional appropriation as part of the biennial budget process or throughout the year.
This matter will go to the 24th for third reading. E, consideration of ordinance of council for third reading adoption.
Ordinance number 2014-0010, an ordinance amending Section 205.06 of the Cuyahoga County Code to incorporate changes to the composition and compensation of the Cuyahoga County Debarment Review Board and declaring the necessity that this ordinance become immediately effective.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by, moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Ms. Conwell. As most of you know, this was my original ordinance. It was co-sponsored by Ms. Simon. It changes the manner in which the Debarment Review Board reviews decisions, in that a retired or former judge will chair the panel, and there'll be a small compensation for members of the Debarment Review Board. And I believe this is very important because all of them are lawyers, and Abraham Lincoln said all that a lawyer has to sell is his or her time. And I was involved in one debarment review, and these gentlemen put in a tremendous amount of time, but they only get paid for the meetings, and I would be surprised if they met more than 3 or 4 times a year. So I recommend and ask for your support on this ordinance.
Madam President, I just want to add, this is a quasi-judicial position and board, and has significant ramifications with regard to the decisions made, because the people involved can appeal this to the Court of Common Pleas. So it's really important that this position is actually staffed by somebody who's used to dealing with judicial matters.
Any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Thank you. Next item.
Ordinance number 2014-0012, an ordinance amending Chapter 701 of the Cuyahoga County Code by changing the title and by adding sections 701.02 and 701.03 to establish capital improvements and debt management policies for the county.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Did you want to be heard, Mr. Miller?
Madam President, my colleagues, this ordinance provides basic capital improvements and debt management policy for the county and was unanimously recommended by the Finance and Budgeting Committee. Key provisions include: 1, maintaining a capital assets inventory; 2, maintain an ongoing 5-year capital improvements plan which shall include intended types and timing of debt issuances to be used; and 3, provision that any debt issuances shall include consideration of ability to meet ongoing direct service requirements in addition to capacity for repayment. I'd like to thank Director Parks, Director Murray, Trevor McAleer, and anyone else who helped with this legislation, and I ask for your approval of this structural building block for our county government.
Madam President, I just have a comment on a series of ordinance I've been seeing coming through finance in terms of really just what they seem to do is to encapsulate what we do as a process, as a body anyways. And I just want to caution, at least I'm going to be cautious of us being put into a box by being micromanaged by ordinances as a council and boxing in an executive branch. I'm not sure we need an ordinance to do things that we do otherwise as part of our job as being the overseers of a budget. So I just want to put that caution out there that I'm going to be watching each and every ordinance. But I think we had a larger piece that encapsulated all kinds of policies in an ordinance, and now it seems that they're being broken up, maybe not this one in particular, but into a series of these ordinances. I just, I'm concerned about us really just micromanaging this process unnecessarily.
I'd like to second Ms. Simon's comments, because my concern is that if we put these into effect and then we don't comply with them for whatever reason, then we're cited on the state audit for not complying with our own rules. So if we make too many rules, then we end up getting cited, and then we get a bad mark from the state auditor. So I think that, I'm going to go along with this one, but I agree with Ms. Simon that we really need to be very careful on continuing to pass these kinds of matters.
Madam President, I would just want to comment first of all that that what is in here is the very basic and most elemental provisions from what was originally a larger piece of legislation, and secondly that breaking this down into smaller digestible pieces is exactly the approach that was recommended in committee when the larger piece of legislation was presented. And finally, that our internal auditor, Ms. Harry, reviewed this legislation, and we incorporated some modest changes that she recommended, and she said that she had no audit concerns about this legislation. Thank you.
Madam President, I just want to let the councilman know I am going to vote no just because of what I said earlier. I don't want to box this council in or to an ordinance that I don't think is necessary to what we do otherwise. So I'm going to vote no with respect, because I envision a series of these coming before us, and I personally don't want to set a precedent.
All right, any other discussion? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed?
I'm opposed.
Simon's no. All right, moving on to item 0015.
Ordinance number 2014-0015, an ordinance enacting the Cuyahoga County Electronic Modernization Act by authorizing the electronic delivery and execution of legislation, contracts, and other instruments and documents.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Shrine and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Did the law department want to be heard on this? This is involving the electronic signatures.
Yeah, this is an issue that we looked into at the law department, and we actually were part of, our co-sponsor of the legislation and are part of advocating for it, which is the electronic delivery and execution of legislation. We've been doing it for contracts, but we have the complete authorization here to have the ability to do that. The one thing I just want to be careful about, that everybody understands, just because this law passes today doesn't mean that we're going to be signing the legislation electronically right away. What this legislation does is the enabling legislation, which we will then put in place the procedures that are subject to the approval. And at that point, once the IT is in place, everybody's comfortable with the process, then we can start having the electronic signature of legislation. And actually what it does, there's a huge transparency component to it, because you'll be able to go on the county website and everything will be linked together. So you'll have the legislation automatically linked. Let's say there is a resolution authorizing a contract, you'll be able to see the legislation authorizing the contract itself, everything in one place, but it'll also have, but even for operational purposes, you have very documented, streamlined processes for the delivery and the execution of legislation.
Thank you. Yes, Mr. Shrine.
This is,
To me, it's an indication of, how as we're moving forward with electronics in so many other ways, this is just an early step and a fairly simple one. It seems to me that when we get to the more complicated ones, those are the ones that we want to make sure that are rock solid. But I think that this is obviously where we need to be moving as a county, as elimination of paper, I hope.
I absolutely agree with you 100%. This is a very basic step.
All right, anything further? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, moving right along. Item 11, legislation introduced by the executive, consideration of resolution for first reading and adoption under suspension of the rules. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D and 12A.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rules.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Gallagher and seconded by Mr. Germano. All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0151.
Resolution number 2014-0151, a resolution amending the 2014-2015 biennial operating budget for 2014 by providing for additional fiscal appropriations from the general fund and other funding sources, for appropriation transfers between budget accounts and for cash transfers between budgetary funds in order to meet the budgetary needs of various county departments, offices, and agencies, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
To adopt.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Did you want to be heard, Mr. Miller?
Madam President, my colleagues, this financial resolution is routine. It primarily involves appropriation of money for grants that we've received and also some closeout of existing grants as the projects are completed. I ask for approval.
Thank you. Anything further? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Do you have a question? Yeah.
Just a question. The Playhouse Square District Development Corporation, it was my recollection that that was not a loan as stated in the document, that it was a grant. We just get clarification for the record.
Is someone here? Is Mr. Parks coming down, or? Parks left? We ask him a tough question and he leaves, man.
He answered your question.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon, Chris Murray, Office of Budget and Management.
Did we confirm that guy or what?
This is, my understanding is this is a loan, but I can have it clarified if you'd like to pull it off the agenda for now.
You fine with
Not a
it? You want-
problem.
Fine with, yeah, if that would
Okay,
be perfect.
that's fine.
Okay, all right.
That's fine.
All right, thank you. Okay, the ayes have it, and that's adopted, so we can move on to the next item.
Resolution number 2014-0152, a resolution approving a collective bargaining agreement between Cuyahoga County and Teamsters Local 436, affiliated with the International Brotherhood of Teamsters, representing approximately 5 employees in 2 classifications at the Cuyahoga County Airport in the Department of Public Works for the period December 1, 2013 through November 30, 2016, directing that funds necessary to implement the collective bargaining agreement be budgeted and appropriated, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Sharon and seconded by Ms. Conwell. We had an opportunity to get information on this in executive sessions. I believe the administration is recommending the item. So are there any questions or discussion? This involves 5 employees at the county airport, and it's consistent with the other labor negotiations that we've had.
That is correct, and we recommend approval.
Okay. All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. All right, consideration of resolutions for first reading and referral to committee.
Resolution number 2014-0153, a resolution adopting the annual tax budget, including the Cuyahoga County Library budget for the year 2015, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
This goes to finance and budget. And I have to make a comment on this. I've been in Inveterate Library, Cleveland Public Library, and Shaker Library, but like I kind of dropped into the county library in Beechwood about a month ago and haven't been back to Shaker Library yet. It's wonderful. It's got like all the it's called the free bookstore. It's got like all the top #1 bestsellers and new tapes, and it's wonderful. So I can't say enough good things about the county library system. All right, moving on. Yes.
Madam President. I would like to move an amendment, and the clerk requested that
Okay.
it be done now rather than in committee to facilitate a good public record.
Okay.
And what this amendment does is at the request of the administration, it simply inserts the correct dollar amounts, which we did not have at the time that the legislation was originally submitted, and the
And that
amendment
is
has been
copies
passed
on
out.
everybody's place?
That's correct.
Okay. All right, so you're moving that?
I'll second.
Moved by Mr. Miller and seconded by Mr. Schron for an amendment to the resolution. Any discussion on the amendment? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. So we will then send the amended resolution to the Finance and Budget. Okay.
Resolution number 2014-0154, a resolution adopting the 2014 Economic Development Plan in accordance with Section 7.05 of the Cuyahoga County Charter and Section 801.01 of the Cuyahoga County Code, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
For the economic development.
Resolution number 2014-0155, a resolution adopting various changes to the Cuyahoga County non-bargaining classification plan and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
It goes to human resources.
Resolution number 2014-0156, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1200-077 with Wellness IQ Incorporated for the Vitality Wellness Program for county employees for the period January 1, 2012 through December 31, 2014, to extend the time period to December 31, 2017, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $1,579,650, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Goes to human resources.
Resolution number 2014-0157, a resolution making an award on requisition number 27791 to Key Bank National Association in the total amount not to exceed $962,829 for various services for the period May 1, 2014 through August 23, 2017, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective in the amount of $600,000 for the corporate credit card program services for duty-related travel, and in the amount of $362,879 for procurement card program services.
It goes to finance and budget.
Resolution number 2014-0158, a resolution making awards on requisition number 29544 to various providers for various programs and services for the Cuyahoga County Fatherhood Initiative for the period July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreements and contracts and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the providers in the amounts not to exceed, and for the programs and services as printed on the agenda as item number 6, I through XII.
So go to Health and Human Services. C, committee reports and consideration of resolutions for second reading under suspension. We need a motion to suspend Rule 9D.
Madam President, I move to suspend the rule.
All those in favor of suspending the rules indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. The rule is suspended.
Resolution number 2014-0130, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1200-357 with HealthSpan Integrated Care, formerly known as Kaiser Foundation Health Plan of Ohio, for group health care benefits for county employees and their eligible dependents, including medical and pharmacy benefit management services for the period January 1, 2012 through December 31, 2013, to extend the time period to December 31, 2014, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $4 million, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Jemana. Did you want to be heard, Ms. Conwell?
Yes, Madam Chair, this contract amount is less than last year, basically due to employees have changed health care benefits choice from HealthSpan to other healthcare choices. The administration did ask for a second reading suspension. This committee asked for passage.
Other questions or comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0142.
Resolution number 2014-0142, a resolution declaring that public convenience and welfare requires resurfacing of Miles Road from Interstate 480 to 200 feet east of Green Road in the city of Bedford Heights. Total estimated project cost $330,000. Finding that special assessments will neither be levied nor collected to pay for any part of the county's costs of said improvement, authorizing the county executive to enter into an agreement of cooperation with said municipality in connection with said project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Mr. Jones and seconded by Ms. Conwell. Did you want to be heard, Mr. Jones?
Madam President, this is a public convenience and welfare resolution. It's the first step in the process to get this road, which is in poor condition in Bedford Heights. We're seeking OPWC dollars, and hopefully this project will start in 2015. If not, we will, if required to use our own dollars strictly, we will start this year in 2014. But I do ask for my colleagues' support.
All right, any other questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Item 0143.
Resolution number 2014-0143, a resolution authorizing an initial project application to Ohio Department of Transportation State Infrastructure Bank for a loan in the amount not to exceed $8,016,000 for improvement of Pleasant Valley Road, Bagley Road from Pearl Road to York Road in the cities of Middleburg Heights and Parma, authorizing the county executive to take all necessary actions and to execute all documents necessary to consummate the contemplated transactions, authorizing the Director of Public Works to administer the project, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
Moved by Mr. Jemana and seconded by Mr. Jones. We've been here 3.5 years. Haven't they paved every single street in Parma by now?
Just about.
Seems like.
Not as drive yet. We haven't parked.
Well, yeah, we haven't done Jemana's driveway yet.
That's another conversation.
All right, any questions on this? Do you want to be heard, Mr. Jones?
Madam Chair. Councilman Jemana might want to.
Sorry.
I just want to point out that Pleasant Valley Road from York East has been redeveloped all the way down past Interstate 77. But going west, it is basically a 2-lane all the way to Pearl Road. And this is a major county east-west county road in the east-west and the southern part of the county. Most people will recognize that Tri-C is at the corner of York and Pleasant Valley, and of course they have 13 to 17,000 students that commute there and so on. So it's an important link to finish off the east-west connection from 71 all the way to Interstate 77.
Okay, anything further? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Here's another one in Parma.
Resolution number 2014-0144, a resolution making an award on requisition number 30197 to Burton Scott Contractors in the amount not to exceed $1,129,900 for 2014 resurfacing operations Group 1 in various municipalities, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $7.50 license tax funds in said amount to fund said contract, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the roads and in the communities as printed on the agenda items 4I and II.
Move to adopt.
Second?
Moved by Mr. Germain and seconded by Mr. Jones. Do you want to be heard, Mr. Germain?
Well, Madam Chair, a couple of years ago when we were studying the convenience of this, I brought up that I grew up right at pretty much the intersection of Crossview and Ridgewood. So I remember riding my bike on these roads, and they're much needed improvements. So I urge that this gets passed. And I'm sure Mr. Jones, everything.
No, I'm not going to comment. Usually we have trucks that cause a lot of heavy road damage. But if your bike was there 20 years ago, I would recommend it for approval.
He was riding his bike around 20 years ago.
Okay, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0145, a resolution authorizing amendments to contracts with various providers for job readiness, job search, job placement, and job retention services for Ohio Works First cash assistance recipients for the period July 1, 2012 through June 30, 2014, to extend the time period to June 30, 2015, to change the scope of services effective July 1, 2014, and for additional funds, authorizing the county executive to execute the amendments and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for the contracts, the providers, and in the amounts not to exceed as printed on the agenda items 5I and II.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Schrein. Did you want to be heard on this, Ms. Conwell? I believe you chair the committee.
Yes, Madam Chair, this contract had a change in scope to include a greater focus for two-parent households. Also, food assistant employment training funding was allotted by the state, as well as the TANF funds. So that was something new. And this amendment actually increases the value of the contract to include the able-bodied adults without dependents that was taken off of the food assistant program. So I recommend passage.
All right, any other questions, comments? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it.
Resolution number 2014-0146, a resolution authorizing an agreement with Educational Service Center of Cuyahoga County in the amount not to exceed $2,495,056 for fiscal agent and administrative services for the Help Me Grow Bright Beginnings program for the Invest in Children program for the period July 1, 2014 through June 30, 2016, authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Moved by Ms. Simon and seconded by Mr. Schrein. Do you want to be heard, Ms. Simon?
And thank you very much. We heard this in committee. This program is funded 100% with Health and Human Service funds and enables us, the county, to reach out to newborn families and do home visits and pregnant moms. It's a good program, and we can get right in there at the beginning. any of the needs of the family.
Questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Add Ms. Conwell's name to
Mine as well.
Jones?
Madam Chair.
Yes, Mr.
Mine as
Miller?
well.
Mr. Miller?
All righty then. Want to add my name, Madam Clerk?
There. You're already on there, I think. No.
No, it isn't.
Okay.
Mr. Hairston is on there.
Hairston beat you guys all to the punch. Huh?
I'm adding Conwell,
new, too.
Jones, Miller, and
He's learning
Simon.
quick.
Germano.
Okay, moving right along.
Okay. Resolution number 2014-0147, a resolution making awards on requisition number 29213 to various providers for various services for the Cuyahoga Options for Elders program for the period July 1, 2014 through December 31, 2015, authorizing the county executive to execute a master contract for each service area and all other documents consistent with said awards and this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective for all the items as printed on the agenda, items 7I through V.
Move to adopt.
Second.
Moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Miller. You want to be heard, Ms. Conwell?
This contract provides services for the seniors in the County Options Program. Presently, no waiting list was to utilize these programs that was established in the committee. And also, the change in contract length was reduced from 24 months to 18 months to allow contracts to coincide with the county fiscal budget. So this committee recommends passage of this contract.
All right, questions? All those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Okay, moving on to item 0148. Am I right? Yeah.
Number 2014-0148, a resolution making an award on requisition number 30389 to PERC ME Joint Venture in the amount not to exceed $22,945,485.17 for improvement of Pleasant Valley Road, Bagley Road, from Pearl Road to York Road in the cities of Middleburg Heights and Parma, authorizing the county executive to execute the contract and all other documents consistent with said award and this resolution, authorizing the county engineer on behalf of the county executive to make an application for allocation from county motor vehicle $5 license tax funds in the amount of $5,277,461.59 to fund said contract, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Second.
By Mr. Germana and seconded by Mr. Jones. Any discussions on this, Mr. Germana?
Well, Madam President, there were 4 bids received. The PERC ME joint venture was the lowest and best bid. And I'm going to call on my lifeline. Bonnie was 9.4% was they were below the engineer's
Higher.
estimate.
Higher.
They were higher, right? They were higher than the estimate, but still within, I would believe, an acceptable range of 10%. All right. All right, you just saved the carpet. So yes, it was, the start completion date will be, they'll start this year and it will run through September of 2017. And I do ask for my colleagues' support.
Madam Chair,
Yes.
if I could just explain and comment on this project. This, again, is Pleasant Valley and Bagley Road that runs through Parma Heights and Middleburg Heights. It's going from 2 lanes to 5 lanes. So it is not going to be a simple project because they'll be doing half the road at a time. There's a lot of cut-ins, a lot of elevations for driveways. So it's not something that is going, it's going to be a challenging program. There's going to be a lot of traffic, again, because of Tri-C. So that explains why we understood that the project was slightly over budget.
All right, any other questions or comments? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. D, consideration of resolution for third reading adoption.
Resolution number 2014-0135, a resolution authorizing a lease agreement with City of Broadview Heights in the amount not to exceed $30 for land for an emergency operations center and special operations facility for the period June 1, 2014 through May 31, 2044. Authorizing the county executive to execute the agreement and all other documents consistent with this resolution and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Adopt.
All right, I'm going to take it from Gallagher, and then you want a second? Ronald,
It was
second.
my district, so it's gone.
Okay. All right, Mr. Gallagher.
Oh, thank you, Madam President. This is pretty self-explanatory, a $30 lease over 30 years. Although there is proximity with Broadview Heights and Parma, I don't anticipate any road work going on out there in the near future. Now that we spent it all on Parma, but I would recommend, we worked on this hard in committee, and we're really proud of this. Mr. Cologne, I congratulate him and the executives team on this, and the committee moving this forward.
Yes, Mr. Strawn.
Just a comment that I spoke with the mayor out there, and they're very excited about this project because they think it's really a capstone project that's going to help differentiate where they're doing out there at Broadview Heights, and so he's pretty excited about the whole thing.
All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed, the ayes have it. And last but not least,
Resolution number 2014-0137, a resolution authorizing an amendment to contract number CE 1300-322 with Catholic Charities Corporation for pre-employment screening services for Ohio Works First applicants for the period July 1, 2013 through June 30, 2014, to extend the time period to June 30, 2015, and for additional funds in the amount not to exceed $523,100. Authorizing the county executive to execute the amendment and all other documents consistent with this resolution, and declaring the necessity that this resolution become immediately effective.
Move to adopt.
Second.
moved by Ms. Conwell and seconded by Mr. Miller. Ms. Conwell, do you want to be heard?
Yes, Madam Chair, the state mandates to offer pre-employment screening for the OWF applicants. This contract is for additional funds because of the extension of the time period. So this committee asks for the committee of the whole support and passage.
Are any questions? All right, all those in favor indicate by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? The ayes have it. Any miscellaneous committee reports? Would like to welcome back Mr. Brady, who left us and went to Italy and almost didn't come back, but he is back, suffering from jet lag, but he is back.
Thank you. I want to thank Councilwoman Conwell for filling in as Chair of Health and Human Services in my absence. And the committee will, I'll take back the gavel, and on the 18th, we'll meet to take up legislation that was introduced this evening.
And Mr. Greenspan?
Great, thank you, Madam President. As we've been discussing the prospect of putting additional charter amendments before the electorate in this year, we've had various meetings. Those proposals, there are 6 proposals from council and 1 submitted by Councilmember Simon and the executive, which will be introduced on June 24th for first reading. We will spend the month of July, and the council president is working out the schedule now, the month of July, to have committee meetings in order to make the second and third reading deadlines in the month of August for the September 5th submission to the Board of Elections. So the month of July will be focused on charter amendments, proposed charter amendments.
All right, thank you. Mr. Miller?
Finance and Budget will meet on Monday, June 16th at 1 p.m. at our usual time to hear the 2 items that were referred today. And again, Brad Sprague, the county's financial advisor, will be coming at the Committee of the Whole on Tuesday, June 24th to discuss debt capacity. Thank you.
Excuse me, Mr. Miller, was that not at 12:30, your meeting?
The Finance Committee meeting is 12:30?
It is 12:30. Okay.
Okay. Good catch, Jean.
Madam President, if go in order.
Mr. Schrein?
Yes, Madam President, the Economic Development Committee will meet on the 16th at 3 o'clock to discuss the 5-year Economic Development Plan.
Anyone else?
Madam President, although nothing was referred to committee today, to the Public Works Committee, We still have our holdover piece of legislation regarding the road maintenance ordinance, and we will deal with that 8 days from today, Wednesday at 11 a.m.
Ms. Simon?
Thank you. Madam President, out of committee, when we were reviewing today's ordinance regarding the Bright Beginnings program, I think Councilman Germana brought up the confusion of overlapping programs. There's a Moms First program as well as this Bright Beginnings program, and Invest in Children has a program where there's home visits for infants. We've asked the staff to provide us with an org chart to make it a lot easier for us to see the overlap and how we can navigate through the system, and hopefully at some point try to streamline it. But I think our departments are doing a really good job of coordinating these efforts, and they spoke to that. But I think council just needs a better, easy way to have a flashcard to understand this.
Meeting will be on June 24th, and we will be starting at 2 o'clock. We sent an email, originally had said 3, but we moved it back to 2 because we have the 2 confirmation hearings and also the presentation about the debt capacity that Mr. Miller talked about. Any miscellaneous business? And any public comment unrelated to the agenda?
No, Madam Chair.
All right, anything else for the good of the order? All right, we stand adjourned.